I'm Ted Santos, and I'm here with Richard Goeglein. Richard is the chairman of Pinnacle Entertainment, and he's the former CEO of Harrah's Hotel and Casinos and a number of other organizations. We just completed a CEO forum where we had Duncan Niederauer, the CEO of the New York Stock Exchange, speak to our audience, and he was actually interviewed by Richard. And
Do it. Start over.
you want me to start over? What did I just say, Richard?
Good morning.
I know. Okay. Hello, I'm Ted Santos, and I'm here with Richard Goeglein. And we just completed a CEO forum that was featured both Duncan Niederauer, CEO of the New York Stock Exchange, who was interviewed by Richard. We talked about the overall market. We talked about mergers and acquisitions and the climate of IPOs and the fate and future of the New York Stock Exchange. A number of interesting questions. And Richard, I think you did a tremendous job in interviewing Duncan. So thank you for that.
Well, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun morning. I learned a lot, which is why I always like to do these kinds of events. And I'm sure that the other participants in the morning's meeting learned a lot as well. It's not often that we have an opportunity to sit with someone who has as broad global perspective on the economy, on the status of things around the world as we did this morning with Duncan.
I agree with you 100%. So you've sat in that chair as CEO and you now take that position as chairman. How do you think CEOs, especially in this middle market space, mid-cap to large companies, how do you think they benefit by, one, coming together as in peer-to-peer, and two, being able to have access to the experience of people like yourself and Duncan?
Well, I think the obvious thing, it's a kind of an old saw that it's lonely at the top. Well, in fact, it really is. Most CEOs really have a limited opportunity to speak openly, candidly. If you're with your board, you're obviously going to be positioning what you say for a certain purpose. And when you're with your direct reports and the people within your own organization, it's very difficult to just be totally open and candid in all circumstances. So coming together this way, the CEOs have the chance to really share and talk about things that are maybe broader, subjective kind of issues, not necessarily the nitty-gritty that they might talk about in their own company, but they get to talk about broader issues about what's happening in the demographics of the population with their customer base, what's happening with their own employees, and attitude of the 20-year-olds versus the 50-year-olds, and so on. It's just a great environment to learn from.
Very true. One of the last things you want to do as a CEO is broach a subject that undermines the confidence. So it would seem coming together as peers and having access to people like you, they have somewhere to vet some of those complex challenges that they face.
Yeah, I mean, the real challenge for CEOs actually is that I happen to believe that the more transparent, open, and direct, maybe even blunt about what's going on and what's going to happen next is the best way to provide meaningful leadership in your company and your organization. But having said that, you can't just be totally insensitive to what reaction is going to be.
Right.
So sometimes you have to, put a little bit rounder edges on what you would say. Here you don't have to. With the CEO group like this one this morning, you can really say whatever it is on your mind and not worry about it.
So let's go to the other side of the table. Let's actually sit on your side. So as a former CEO, how do you benefit, and how do you think other former CEOs can benefit by engaging younger CEOs who are running middle cap companies and facing pretty much the same challenges that you had in the past. So you could say there are universal challenges and then there are industry. How do you benefit? What do you like about doing this?
Well, my view is that you're never too old to learn, and you always have an opportunity to learn. And I think coming to these kinds of meetings and coming to our breakfast meetings we have every other month really gives me the opportunity to hear different perspectives from maybe different generational perspectives, not just business and industry perspectives. I've never left one of those meetings that I hadn't learned something new, something different, a different approach, some way to think about issues and opportunities that I might not have thought of otherwise. So, I mean, just every chance you have to grow and expand and enhance your knowledge, I think, is a benefit. And that's part of why this is such a valuable experience.
Great. Well, for the years that I've known you and the support you've given us over the years, I really want to say thank you, Richard. You've
Well,
been
I've
a
enjoyed
tremendous asset.
I've enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you.
All right. That's good.